got done. I'm breaking in my new piston and ring on my yz125. I put about 20 minutes or so on it yesterday and thought I would do a little riding this evening. Put a Vertex piston in it. It's got more pop now for sure. Yeah, I love it. I'm breaking it in. I'm not went full throttle yet. I've creeped it up through there already. I'm doing what Jeff Slavens recommends, and that's riding it pretty much normal. I'm not really sticking it to it. Yeah, I've run it up through there. You know how these bikes are, you can run them through the gears pretty hard without it going wide open. And I've noticed it's got a little bit more snap to it. Definitely a little bit more pop to it. The previous owner had a Wiseco in it. I pulled it out. Definitely at some point he had run it hard before it ever got anywhere near warmed up, because it had some scratches on the side. It scratched the cylinder a little bit, but one spot in particularly really wasn't that great, but it was good enough. My fingernails couldn't catch on it. My ring gap was awesome. The rest of the cylinder looked like brand new, but it had tried to seize. You can see where it caught it on the four corners, because cylinders are oval. Oh shit, that shit's a lot damn taller than I thought it was. Thank God, he's got a pretty good front brake on. The back brake's not amazing. Here, I'll cut it off the top for a minute. Okay, so the bike definitely has a little bit more compression. It's running a little bit rich, and you could tell by the piston because it's pretty clean. Wipe these off. But the Wiseco would have looked good if someone hadn't. Yeah, these are Army surplus goggles, by the way. I've got some good ones. I got some Fox racing gear. These are just like my throw on, go for a little ride stuff. The bike wasn't running bad when I tore it down at all. It had a few signs of some cylinder wear. It definitely has a little bit more compression now. It's a little snappier up top. I can't tell yet since I'm using partial throttle to run it up through there. It started up pretty good. It idled a little high on the first startup. Idled a little high today when I started it up. Yesterday it was perfect, but I'm gonna adjust on the carburetor, and probably I'm probably gonna put Electron on it because I do like the bike. But you know, my method, and here's some tips. I like Jeff Slavens. He's a big KTM mechanic, but a lot of stuff's crossover for all these two strokes. And I didn't hone, and you know, you really shouldn't hone a Nicosil plated sleeve or cylinder, I should say. Cast iron's a whole different story. But I just used Scotch-Brite, some soapy water, WD-40 contact cleaner. Cleaned it all up, cleaned up real easy, real good. This one wasn't surprisingly glazed real bad, even though the bike runs fairly on the rich side. And blew it out real good with some air, compressed air, and put it all back on. Everything seemed to go together good. I used a Vertex piston. And I plan to run it for 30 hours on this bike because of the way I ride. You can probably go a little further, maybe a little shorter, depending on how aggressive you're riding. If you're actually racing these, that's a whole different story, because where they're just going to be pinned at red line just their whole life pretty much. I know those guys are talking 10, 15, 20 hours pretty much on the race. The guys are just racing them. But, you know, some tips if you're doing a yz125. Replace those copper washers on the top end, and really that's it. The power valve's real easy to take apart and clean. A lot of people are intimidated by that, but it's so basic and simple. A 12-year-old with a manual can work on this bike, and probably someone younger than that even. It's not that big of a deal. I did lose a circlip. It took me about 2 hours total time to do it all, maybe not counting bolting the body up and all that. It took me a minute. But I lost the circlip. Those things are a pain in the butt to get in. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me fire this back up. Yeah, it's definitely running a little better. I'm not beating on it, but here's the idea. You're only breaking in the rings. And I've worked on cars for a while, and even though it's a 4-stroke, it's the same difference. You're not breaking in the actual piston. It's ready to go. The only way the rings are ever going to see is if you get on it. So if you're sitting around idling forever doing a million heat cycles, you're doing more harm than good. Because you're going to glaze the cylinder over. You don't want to just get on it and take off. You do want to be warmed up, of course. Let's play there, just practice. It's wet. I'm really surprised they took that smooth because it's wet. Yeah, until they get that pressure, they're not going to see. That was a good one, wasn't it? So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of riding it normal. I know you don't want to go out and do the steepest hill climb in the world, nor do you want to keep it pinned forever. Woo! I love popping that wheel up a little bit over the top of that. These bikes are like driving a turbo car. It's all up high. I guess that's what's fun about them. But you got to get it in that sweet spot, and they really go then, which I know I'm babying it. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to ride the dog out of it. The horses hate this thing. But you do want it to get some load. Absolutely. So what, no different than a car engine or anything like that. Same story. It's like here, I'm gonna take it a little faster, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy, just easy. It's loaded up a little from my easy riding over here. And that's not wide open, by the way. There we go, there's enough of that. Alright, I'm out, guys. That's it.